How come nobody talks about these two games? It is infuriating. It is infuriating that nobody mentioned these two games. And when they do mention them, either it's like a tier list or something like that, they always put them in the low tier. Like people just collectively decided that these two games are dog shit. And I'm like, what? Like the fandom decided to erase these duologies from their brain. Like they don't even exist. Like they didn't even exist. And that is so infuriating, because these two games actually deserve a fucking remake. They 100% deserve a remake or another game in their name. Which game am I talking about? I'm talking about the Resident Evil Revelation duology. Bro, if you played these two games, you know what I'm talking about. And it's way more crazy because these games, they came between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. So people should have played them. Yeah, sure, they were on Nintendo DS, but they did eventually came out to PC and Xbox and PS3, I think. So the fact that nobody talks about them is crazy to me. Because here's the thing, right? These are like side series that Capcom did, right? So if it's like minimum risk, like oh no outbreak, no story was like mid, I would be like, oh yeah, I understand why nobody talk about them, why the fandom just decided to dismiss them. But these two games have two big conspiracies and two massive, like Raccoon City level outbreaks. But nobody talks about them. It's like they are 100% forgotten. And it is crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. So look, I played them like a week ago, right? And they are still fresh on my mind, bro. I played them 2 times. 2 times. The Revelation and Revelation 2. I played the DLCs. I played the raid mode, which is basically like mercenary modes. But I like it. But the fact that bro, okay. You know what? I'm gonna just shoot the shit and just talk about these two games. So I'm gonna start with Revelation 1, right? So basically, the story mainly follows Jill Valentine and her partner Parker, not Chris, which are like the agents of the BSAA. Let me tell you something. How many games can you name where Jill is a playable character? I can wait. There is Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 5, I think, but she doesn't have story, so yeah. And Resident Evil 3 and Revelation. So basically three games, bro, where you play as Jill. But nobody wants to talk about them. Nobody, it's like they forgot it. So let me go back to the story, right? You play as Jill and her partner Parker, and you're searching for your missing partners, which are Chris and Jessica. I like Jessica. I want more of Jessica. And we also like meet other characters like Raymond, which he wants to be Leon so bad. Like, oh, I'm mysterious. Oh, I'm charismatic. Bro, sit your ass down, bro. You're not Leon. But sure. And we meet 2 of my favorite Resident Evil game characters that they are forgotten. They are not mentioned in any other game or note or anything, which are Quint and Keith. Those 2 are... One has 2 machetes as his melee, bro. 2. Why would you need 2 machetes? But he has 2. And the other is like a tech wizard who is literally obsessed. Like when you play him in Revelation, like the section of him, bro, literally risk dying for a fucking computer, because that's how bro. These 2 are goated. And the story, go back to the story. The story like jumps between like multiple timelines and location. So we first start as Jill and Parker, like on board of the ship Queen Zenobia. Like we're looking for Chris, right? And here's why this game location is the best. When you play like Revelation and Resident Evil 1 are kind of similar in the location aspect, because in one you play in the mansion and the other one is in the ship. But here's why Revelation location outshines any other location in any horror game, even Resident Evil 1. When you play in Queen Zenobia ship, basically it's like the Titanic, but it is claustrophobic. It is tight. Like there's no escape. Like the moment you're in, there's no escape. You either progress or you die. That's what I like about it. And each corridor, each hallway, it's scary. Like you don't know if the enemy is there. And in the first like I think hour or so, or half an hour or something like that. You don't meet any enemies. It's just you, the corridors, the atmosphere, and the soundtrack. That's all there is to it. And they perfected it. They perfected it. Like to the last minute detail, Homelander, I know. They perfected it. So back to the story, like I was saying. So we play as Jill and Parker and Queen Zenobia looking for Chris. But instead of finding Chris, which of course it was like an ambush, we don't find any survivors. We find nothing. We find like a ship, like completely overrun, like by the infected of the new virus called like the T Abyss virus, which is way better than the T virus, but nobody actually mentioned it. Like nobody wanted to use it. Bro, use the T Abyss virus with the G virus, and you would have like unkillable, bro. You would have another Mr. X who is unkillable. And while we play as Jill and Parker, we get captured by the antagonist. I say that like loosely, like antagonist, Veltro, which they kidnap them to prove a point. But I will come back to it. Why I said like loosely. But meanwhile, the game jumps us into Chris and Jessica, who are investigating Veltro, like by terrorist organization, who are like responsible for like, when I say a massive attack, I mean these dudes destroyed an entire floating city, Terra Grigia. They like, when you play the first, like when you after 20 minutes in the start, you will see, when you're on the beach, you will see the city. These motherfuckers destroyed an entire city, but Resident Evil doesn't mention it at all. It's like Terra Grigia didn't even exist. I mean, you serious? Like, it's not like they just put bombs and be like, oh yeah, that's it. They unleashed a bio-organic weapon, bro. They unleashed a BUW and they unleashed the T Abyss, bro. But nobody wants to call them. And not even that. I didn't even know Resident Evil like organization were moving like that. They have, the BSAA have a fucking satellite weapon called Regia Solis that is capable of destroying an entire city. Let me repeat. Fucking Chris and the BSAA have a satellite weapon. A satellite weapon that is capable of destroying entire cities. Where was that fucking weapon in Resident Evil 8? You could have just called Ethan. Yo, Ethan, here, I'm gonna fucking blast the shit out of it. Pew! Ethan is saved. I mean, he's gonna die because he's mold, but oh. Like, where was that weapon? I don't get it. They mentioned it. They mentioned it once, and that's it. Like, oh, we have this incredible weapon that destroyed an entire city, Terra Grigia, but we're not gonna use it again because you know what? Fuck you, bro. Okay, sure. But here's the thing. Here's why I said like the Veltro, like kind of like loosely the antagonist, because here's where the story unfolds and you realize like, oh, what happened in Terra Grigia, like it wasn't a disaster, like it was like intentional, and the game actually tells us who's the real villain is. But before they do that, they actually like they're trying to play with your mind, and they decide like, oh, the director of the BSAA, O'Brien, is actually the villain, because he knew who the real villain was, and he still decided to let Jill and Chris like wander in like vague missions, even though he knew who was responsible after that. And we know that the director of the FBC, Morgan Lansdale, is the one who is the one responsible for that, and he was responsible for the destruction of Terra Grigia. You see how the plot twist is like the conspiracy is, but how can nobody wants to mention Revelation has this level of like peakness, bro? Like, he allowed Veltro to attack just so he can justify destroying a city, just because he wants to strengthen his political power. You realize how fucked up that is? That is the antagonist who decided, fucking the entire city, fuck the people who live in there, I'm gonna destroy it. Why? Because I want to have more political power. You do realize that, bro? You know how messed up that is. And then like nobody wants to talk about it, and that made me realize, like the FBC made me realize how many fucking organizations are there in Resident Evil. Like how many? Like we have the, I think DOC or DOF, I don't know, the Leon one. We have the BSAA, which has a lot of like when I looked it up, a lot of like branches. We have the FBC, we have the FBI, we have the Family, we have Veltro, we have the Umbrella, we have Neo Umbrella, we have TerraSafe. We have so many organizations in this universe, but none of them like are given time to shine. But here's the thing, right? Go back to the story. I'm really hype about this, bro. Like I said, Veltro. He was basically like a puppet for Morgan, but at the end, like he realizes that, oh, he survives. Like after the ship is all destroyed, and like Morgan was like, you know what, fuck all of you, I'm gonna destroy this. And you know what, how fucked up? Morgan is the wrong, but he decided, you know what, I'm gonna walk on the BSA headquarters, arrest their director, and take control of their entire fucking operation. He didn't succeed, but the balls on those men, bro. This man is fucked up, bro. If they decide to make another Resident Evil, he needs to be in power, bro. He's fucked up as fuck, bro. Look, at the end, we play as the Jack. He transforms, and that boss fight was actually like cool because he can do like Shadow no Jitsu, clone himself, and he can move really fast. So you have to shoot, like be specific where you shoot him, stuff like that. But thankfully, I had ammo. Like I saved a lot of ammo, so I just dumped into him, and I did die twice, but you know. In the end, I still like won. So that's the story basically. So let me talk about the. No, wait. There's not a plot twist. Yeah. Basically, when you like told you, like you play as Jill, then you play as Chris, yada yada. But in one point, Jill and Parker are like stuck, and you have to save them as Chris and Jessica. So when you go to the ship, when you walk in like directly where they are. In my, like, I was be like, wait, something is different. Something like doesn't look right. Like something is completely different. And then you realize that you're in a completely different ship, like her sister ship. Yeah. If you don't like see those kind of details, you'd be like, wait, what? What happened? Like Jill and Parker were about to drown. You should have saved them. But like the moment I was on the ship with Chris and Jessica, and I was walking, opening doors, stuff like that, I was like, no, something is completely different here. This isn't like, it is similar to that ship of Queen Zenobia, but it is not like 100% Queen Zenobia, if you know what I mean. And then you realize, oh, there's two ships, and for you to reach it is far away, so basically you got bamboozled and you went into another ship, and then stuff happens. And then when you play as Jill and let's say like Chris, you can tell like in that moment Chris actually likes Jill, and Jill like share the same sentiment, but they don't, like they keep it subtle. And like Parker and Jessica knew it because Jessica keeps flirting with Chris, and Chris keeps like shutting him down, like shut the fuck up, I don't need you, I don't care about you. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, that's basically the story. It is peak. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm just gonna talk about the gameplay real quick. The gameplay. They include the new stuff like the Genesis scanner, which in first hindsight you'd be like, oh, you know what, it's kind of boring, I'm not gonna use it. But you will find yourself using it way more often than you should, because the more you scan like there's a bar when it reach like 100, they give you like health or ammo, stuff like that. So you'll be using it like a lot, and it is like. It has like it is a unique mechanic because like you can find like a lot of hidden items, which I thought like, oh my god, it's kind of boring, like I have to scan to find items. But that's after like 1 hour or like half an hour, completely like went out of my brain. So I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I literally just kept using it all the time. Like you can recover health, you can gather virus samples and like find hidden items, stuff like that. Like it literally, this scanner, this mechanic, it encourages me to like explore instead of just shooting and just ignoring everybody. I was like, oh, I cleared the room, let me just go back and just scan everything to see if there's nothing, everything here. Oh, a new enemy, let me just scan him to see. So that was like actually cool. But there's the thing that this game actually do. The resources are limited. You would find yourself with less weapon and less ammo. I mean, quite a lot. Like I remember, because at the end, like the final boss fight, I literally had no ammo, no shotgun, no pistol, no machine gun, no magnum, no nothing. I was just with a knife. If the game didn't add the fucking helicopter dude dropping RPGs on you, I would have literally just quit the game or started a new like save just to gather more ammo, which I like a lot, because like ammo is scarce. It's not like Resident Evil 4 or 5 or even 6, where ammo are like a lot, like dropped everywhere. This game literally makes you think, oh, this is survival horror, bro, by the way. So just manage your resources like carefully, or you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose all of them. And also the enemy, let's talk about the enemy design. The enemy design, I think they're pretty cool. Like if you don't kill them quickly and they take a lot of ammo, like maybe you will think, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna ignore them, just go by my way, yada yada yada. They can overwhelm you. They can literally overwhelm you by how many they can just spawn. And there's also like one of those motherfuckers, they keep shooting at you, and their accuracy is like, bro, are you using cheats on a single player game? Like, relax. Why are you using cheats? Like, they catch you. And I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. And also, I remember there's a boss fight. I forgot her name. Fuck. Lucy or something like that. But she transforms. And the moment you see her, it's like you went to, like, the first time you see her, she's dead. But then when you go back, you have to you take one of her, I think, cards to open a door, something like that. So when you see her again, she's transformed. This game is basically aquatic, that's why it's called Sea Abyss. So when you fight her, the first time I fought her, I like you shoot her, you do like a kind of damage, specific damage, then she runs away and you have to chase her, and then every time you chase her, an enemy comes with her to help, then you have to shoot her again, then she chase her until like you meet with Parker in the cafeteria, and then both of you should kill her. So I did that, I did kill her, but like I want to experiment. I was like, wait, I can kill her before that, right? So I just like restarted to my last checkpoint, and the moment I met her, I kept like shooting her, but then instead of, like, she runs, but instead of that, I kept throwing grenades at her. She like keeps getting stunned and downed. I kept like doing that, like 5 grenades I think, and then shooting her, and then she died. And I got the card that moment. She didn't escape, she didn't anything. Then I walked all the way to meet Parker. I was like, huh, maybe the enemies were spawned again. They didn't spawn. I was like, wait, really? It's incredible that you can do that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't think like you can kill her. I thought like it was scripted, but the fact that you can kill her is way, way better. I love this. I love this game so much. I really, really love this one because it has like multiple locations. It has like the Queen Zenobia ship. You have the Queen Semiramis ship. You have the Mediterranean mountains when you play as Chris and Jessica fighting wolves. And then you have the destroyed city of Terra Grigia where you play as like, but you're back in the past. You play as Parker and Jessica before the Terra Grigia was destroyed, and you know that, oh, O'Brien, before Jessica becomes an asshole, becomes hot basically. So yeah, and the fact that this game is like episodic, like every time like, oh, this is episode 1, episode 2, I think it has like 12 episodes. It felt like I'm playing, but also like I'm watching a TV show. And I remember I played episode 1, then I stopped, but then I played episode 2 until 12 in one setting, in literally one sitting, and it was amazing. I don't like the cliffhanger that they did to us. Like, after you defeat the enemy and you reveal the conspiracy of Morgan and the FBC, and Jessica was working with FBC, and also Raymond, the Leon wannabe, he was with the FBC, but then he switched sides. So like he's redeemed, and I think like he died, but for some reason he didn't die. So in the post-credit scene, you see like Jessica like sitting down, and like she's secretly meeting with Raymond, and he gives her like the T-Abyss virus, and they like hint like, oh, they're coming back, like something really big is gonna happen with the T-Virus, but like nothing actually happened after this post-credit scene. And like you can tell that, like, how to say, I was like, oh, maybe she's gonna deliver it like to, like, they said, oh, she's gonna deliver it to an unknown organization, like, oh, nobody knows about it. And it is implied that the organization which Jessica is working for and gonna deliver to the Abyss is the connection, like in Resident Evil 7, but like the game never like follows up on it. So like the virus sample just disappears, and like Capcom never like directly continued like the storyline, so it is like open-ended, which I don't like about the Revelation duology. They do that a lot, but the first one is peak. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's amazing, bro. Now let's talk about Revelation 2. Revelation 2 goes in a completely different direction. Like instead of ocean horrors and conspiracy, the games actually focuses on psychological trauma and like experimentation. Like I said, like the story follows like also two groups. Like we have the first timeline, which is by Claire Redfield and Barry's daughter, which I didn't know he has a daughter, Moira. And also we play as Barry and a girl named Natalia Corda, which there's a twist to her at the end. So basically we play as Claire and Moira, who are like in an event by TerraSave, and they get kidnapped and taken to a mysterious like island prison. And by the first like 3 minutes I knew who the enemy was, or like helping him, because they kind of like show it immediately. But I didn't expect this type of like gameplay or this type of like game from like a Resident Evil, I'm not gonna lie. So when they take you to the island, but the island is basically like like I said, prison. It's like human experimentation. Like people are infected like with the T Phobos virus, I think from Resident Evil 5. And unlike anything like before, we have this bracelet on us, right? So we are already infected by the virus. But this virus activates in extreme fear. So if you panic, you get mutated into monsters. If you get scared, you get mutated. So basically you have to control your own emotion in a Resident Evil game. Let me repeat that again. You have to control your own emotions in a Resident Evil game, bro. Imagine if that shit is in Resident Evil 4 or 5 or 6 or Resident Evil 2. You would transform into a fucking zombie, or here they call it affiliated, immediately. And we saw it too. When we meet our first like survivors, they also like one panics and gets scared and he transforms, and the other was like driving like a helicopter, and when the helicopter was crashing down, he panics and the bracelet turns red. So basically it's orange, like green, orange, red. But when you play as Claire and Moira, it's always orange. So yeah, you're always like panicking, but like you have to keep it in a certain level. And then that dude in a helicopter, he showed and he beeps like, oh, it's red, and he knows he fucked up. Like death would be better than knowing you are infected, but the infection only works if you're like scared or terrified. In the fucking Resident Evil game, bro, if Mr. X is chasing me, bro, okay, GG's. If I open a door and the liquor is there, GG's, bro. I guess I'm afflicted now, bro. Okay. So yeah, that's why I like this game. It is more like Outlasty, like Outlast kind of game, and they experimented with it, and I enjoy 100%. So the true like antagonist in this is like Alex Wesker. Yeah, it's of course it's gonna be Wesker. Who else, bro? He's like one of Albert Wesker's clones that he survived. But here's the thing, Alex, she was like raised to be better than him, like to be a superior human. Like instead, like Albert was like obsessed with like physical perfection, right? But this Alex Wesker is obsessed with immortality. And by doing what? By like consciousness transfer. So basically she wanted to transfer her mind into a different person. And that person is Natalia. So Natalia is a clone of Albert Wesker, and Alex is a clone of Albert Wesker, and Alex wants to be forever, so she transfer her mind into Natalia. And here's the plot twist. She succeeds into transferring her mind into Claire. No, not Claire, sorry. Into Natalia. But the game never goes on with this. Look, in Resident Evil Requiem, we have another clone of Wesker, right? Cool. He's a clone. This bitch is a kid with Albert Wesker's clone controlling her. We have a mini Albert Wesker, ladies and gentlemen. A mini Albert Weskers. But the game forget it exists. It forget that Alex existed. It forgets that Natalia exists. But sure. So let me just talk about the gameplay mechanics. So basically, this game is like a co-op. It shows like like Claire and Moira has like, even like Barry and Natalia have like different abilities. So when you play as Claire and Moira, Claire has the guns, but Moira only has like a crowbar. So she only can do like melee attacks, or she can throw like grenades, stuff like that. But she can stun enemies with the flashlight. So if like there are like one enemy you see like rushing to them, you can like switch to Moira. You flash, then shoot them with Claire. And also like the first game with the scanner, Moira can like see some flashing, and then when she does the lights, this shit pops up, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, boom, pow. You can just scan it and you take it. So I kind of like, I know where the game is going. Oh, you should play as Moira more. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna play as Claire. But I did play as Moira, I'm not gonna lie. I played most of the game as Moira to see if I see anything hidden. But then I immediately switch to Claire because she has the guns. So yeah, and also like in Barry and Natalia, like Barry can use like weapons, but Natalia can like see enemies through doors, like spider sense, or like that daredevil kind of sense. And she can like also highlight like weak points, or like she can sneak past monsters because they don't actually see her, I guess. And here's the thing that I don't like about Resident Evil Revelation 2 is the ending, right? Because in the entire story is basically, so Claire and Moira are kidnapped in an island. Sure. The second timeline is Barry trying to save them. Okay, cool. So by the end of Claire and Moira's run, I thought like, you destroyed you see the tower, so you have to destroy it. I was like, okay, cool. So I thought they gave me like an option. They should give me an option. So when you're running down, some debris falls on Moira, and Claire is way ahead of her. So the game is a cutscene. So they look at Moira. They look at the jump where you have to jump and then you're safe. You jump to the water, then you go. I they're like, they're gonna give me like an option where I can save Moira, but the game didn't give me an option to save Moira at all. They literally was like, you see Moira, she's dead, jump. I was like, what? And that's not it, because at the end, you see Moira surviving. Like they show her hand reaching out of debris, and the bracelet goes red. So in your head, you'd be like, oh fuck, she turned into a monster. But no, because in the DLC, she's human. And she was saved by the Russian dude. I forgot his name. I'm gonna call him Victor. Goated to this day. She is saved by him, and he's helping her escape the island. So I was like, wait, what? What's going on? And at the end of her DLC, let's go back to Barry for a moment, because in the final confrontation, when Barry first meet Jill, and that's why like Jill tell him, we're in this island, and he goes save her, blah blah blah. So at the end, Barry is fighting against Alex because Alex is trying to transfer her mind into Natalia, right? Cool. So she transforms, and we have to defeat her. So Barry, we defeat Alex mutated, but the ending suggests something completely different. Alex actually transferred successfully her mind into Natalia. Natalia look at Barry and be like, oh yeah, you bitch, I did that, you bitch. So Barry, of course, she's a kid, he cannot kill her. Cool. But then when you play it deals, basically, that's the end. When she called you, she's not calling you a bitch, but basically it's implied. Then she leaves, Barry's on the ground, bada bing, bada boom, he doesn't escape, that's it, roll credits. I was like, wait, what the fuck? His entire goal coming into this island wasn't to save Natalia, wasn't to kill Alex, it was to save his daughter, Moira. But I guess along the way he forgot. Okay, sure. But then when you play as Moira in the DLC, and then you reach that ending, her ending, you see Barry on the ground talking to Natalia where she's leaving, and that's it, the end. She doesn't scream, Dad! Or jumps to him or anything. Just boom, abrupt ending. And that's it. There's no other episode for you to be like, oh wait, what happened after that? Nope, that's it, fuck you, bro. Like what? Like the ending just stops abruptly. You can tell they had a lot of stuff they wanted to do with Revelation 2. But they decided, like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna just end it here abruptly. Like, how come both of the Revelation games end with like massive loose threads? We have first Jessica delivering the virus to a secret organization. We have Alex surviving inside Natalia. We don't know the fate of the stolen T Abyss. We don't know the future of the Wesker project unless you say Requiem, which is a clone, sure. But like the mainline games, like they moved into a completely different direction. So basically the Revelation storyline, like they remain like one of the like largest unsolved arcs like in the entire franchise. Literally, we have no ending. We don't know what happened to the characters. We don't know at all if these characters are alive or dead, except for Barry and Claire. But what the fuck happened? So, look, Resident Evil Revelation 1 and 2, like they are like strange entries in this series, not gonna lie. Like they tried to go back to the like classic survival horror and also modern action gameplay. Like they introduced one of the most amazing villains. Like they're fascinating as fuck. Like they introduced some of the most atmospheric locations in the franchise, and the plot twist and the conspiracy storyline that they did. Like they could have like reshaped the entire Resident Evil like franchise universe, but for whatever reason, Capcom simply left those stories unfinished. Literally unfinished 100%. And like to this day, like I think the Revelation series remain one of the most intriguing what ifs in Resident Evil history. And that's why I believe Capcom, please do a remake of this. Do a remake of this duology, please, because we need to know what the fuck happened.